The raw pet food conspiracy? Find out in this video. Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Click there to subscribe, hit the bell to sign up for notifications, and then when you click the link directly in the box below, I can send you a copy of my free book. Is raw pet food really that bad? You know, I feed it to my own animals. I suggest you feed it to yours. But it seems that I'm always reading about raw pet food warnings, the danger of raw pet food. And there seems to be an excessive number of raw pet food recalls. Is this really happening? Like, what's going on? Susan Thixton wrote an article on the truth about pet food. As of May 2016, the FDA has issued 18 consumer alerts for pet food products, and 50% of those have been for raw pet food. Like what's going on? 18, we've got 18 pieces of kibble here. And it just turns out that half of those, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of those, this half right here, Pippi's about to eat, 9 of those was raw pet food. Clearly raw pet food is dangerous, wouldn't you say? Based on 50% of the recall as being raw pet food? But there's more. Let's consider the size of the pet food market. Well, let's call it 100%. Here's 100 pieces of kibble. Whoa, it's a big market of pet food. Guess what percent raw pet food makes up? That's right, one of these pieces of kibble. 1%. So if all the pet food sales that happen in the United States, there it is, 99 pieces of kibble, non-raw pet food, 1% is raw pet food. Yet surprisingly, it's responsible for 50% of the recalls. What's going on? One of the FDA's prime concern is Salmonella. It's a bacteria. It can make you really sick and make your dog really sick. Okay, fair enough. I would be concerned about Salmonella. I don't want to get it. I don't want my dog getting sick from Salmonella. Yet, they have done a study. They've sampled nearly 200 samples of raw pet food. And of the raw pet food that they sampled, about 8%, right, potentially even this, were contaminated with some degree of Salmonella bacteria. So we're like, it is risky. But consider this. You can go to the grocery store, you can buy yourself some raw ground chicken, and guess what? Up to 25% of that raw ground chicken can be contaminated with Salmonella. It's okay for people. Seems to be a huge concern for our pets. So like, what is going on? The FDA is concerned that raw pet food is so much more dangerous than kibble is not accurate. If you look at historical records, you look at since 2012, when you're looking at what pet food has been contaminated with Salmonella, this stuff here, this dry kibble that Pippi's about to scarf into, it is 75 times more likely to be found contaminated with Salmonella than this supposed risky pet food, this raw pet food. Like 70 times more likely? The FDA spent nearly $1 million regulating testing this raw pet food, which accounts for about 1% of the pet food market, completely ignoring the thousands and thousands of other pet foods and pet food companies producing this kibble and causing an array of harm. But what, like, why? So what do I think in all of this? Is there really a pet food conspiracy? Well, there definitely seems to be a pretty big bias. Like, how can it be that raw pet food, this like pretty dang healthy stuff, my opinion, so much healthier than feeding your dog this, feeding your cat this, accounting for less than 1% of the pet food market, is, has like 50% of the recalls of the regulation of the FDA. Makes no sense. Like, clearly there is bias. What am I going to continue to do? First, I'm going to continue to be feeding my animals raw pet food. I'm going to advocate that you feed your dog, you feed your cat some raw pet food. You can do it safely, i.e. defrosting it overnight in the fridge, as I've done. It was frozen in the freezer. that you are following safe practices, so you're washing your hands well, your counters well, you're not getting yourself sick. And you want to make it simple, you do what I'm doing. I'm feeding the prepackaged frozen raw. Yum yum. In my opinion, the resources will be far better spent investigating more of this dry pet food, some of the questionable ingredients, disease, dead, decaying, potentially euthanized animals going into dry pet food versus the 1% of the pet food, which is pretty darn healthy, the raw stuff. I don't know. I think the priorities need to be gone straight. And yeah, there's clearly a bias. Maybe there's even some type of conspiracy. Thanks so much for watching this edition of Veterinary Secrets on raw pet food. Click up there to subscribe, hit the button to sign up for notifications, and then when you click the link directly in the box below, I can send you a copy of my free book.